What's up, guys? How's it going? Cade Moore with More Muscle. So today, I just wanted to explain sickle cell anemia. So what is a lot of people have that, and it's a tough thing to have. It can come from many things like malabsorption of iron or malabsorption of vitamin B12. And this can, but let's start off in the beginning. So what happens is you have stem cells that come from the bones, and these stem cells can be converted into anything they want, right? So they could be converted into a red blood cell. They could be converted into um, lymphocyte, where it helps fight off bacteria and stuff. It can basically be converted into an IgE, which helps with allergies and stuff like that. When you get an inflammation of allergies, that's from a cell called IgE in your blood. But what happens is red blood cells, they live for about 120 days in the body in normal individuals. Now, what you want in this red blood cell is you want it to be round, you want it to look normal, you want it to be like beefy red, and you want to have enough iron, heme, which is basically iron that can carry that oxygen to around your body and stuff, right? So you see a lot of problems with oxygen, carrying, which is sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia is where your red blood cells are deformed and they can't carry oxygen, or they can't carry enough oxygen, or the red blood cell is dying prematurely, and it's not forming into a strong red blood cell. So this is really important, right? Because you want to have strong red blood cells. So here are a couple things that you can do. One is getting adequate iron. Another one is adequate B12. So B12 is very important. So if you are a vegetarian, you will not be getting enough vitamin B12 unless you're supplementing. So you got to be careful with that. So vitamin B12 comes from only animal products. So you got to be careful with that. Although vitamin B12 can be stored a lot, if you're in a place with higher elevation, this can affect you because you need more red blood cells. What happens is when you go to a place, say for example, Utah, that's where I'm from, the elevation is about 5,000. Or Colorado, where the elevation is about 7,000. You have more stem cells produced and turned into red blood cells, and this can carry more oxygen, right? So that's why people with sickle cell anemia, they shouldn't be living in places with high elevation. And a lot of people with sickle cell anemia will move to places right by the ocean because the concentration of oxygen is better, and your body doesn't have to produce all that extra red blood cells. Because sickle cell anemia, remember, is where the red blood cell cannot carry that oxygen around, right? And remember, that red blood cell needs to be strong, needs to be round, and these red blood cells are malformed, and so they can't carry oxygen, or they're dying prematurely. So normal red blood cells are supposed to be living about 120 days, and sometimes they'll die in 10, 15 days. And that puts a lot of stress on the body, and you'll be constantly out of breath. But anyways, these are a couple of things you can do if you do have sickle cell anemia, or if you have iron deficiency anemia, or if you have pernicious anemia, which is vitamin B12. So a lot of people, they actually, when they get surgery on their stomach, it might decline, or it might not let them have the ability to absorb vitamin B12 and iron. And so what people will have to do is they'll have to get it through IV. They'll have to get vitamin B12 through IV because their stomach can't, take in that iron and that B12. So you can either do that, you can supplement with iron. But the thing is, guys, iron, if you have too much of it, can be very toxic in your body. So you want to make sure that you consult with a medical professional about how much iron you should be taking daily. Another thing you got to think about is if you're an older person, your body your body can't get rid of iron as fast as a normal human, a younger human, right? So as you get older, your kidneys, your liver, they don't get rid of waste as well, right? So that's why you gotta be careful when you get older. You want to make sure you have enough iron, but you're not getting too much of it. And even when you're younger, iron toxicity does happen, and it's quite scary. Um, but guys, there are a lot of foods that have a lot of iron in it naturally, and B12, right? So iron you can find in like green leafy vegetables, uh, liver. Liver is like one of the best sources for vitamins, right? The liver, like if you eat like cow liver or whatever type of liver it is, this is gonna boost your vitamin, intake by a lot. Um, so just remember, guys, if you want healthy blood, you got to be eating healthy. You got to be taking care of yourself. Obviously, not drinking alcohol, not smoking. And you got to make sure your absorption is good. So if you've had a surgery on your stomach, then you got to make sure you're absorbing that iron and that vitamin B12. A lot of people do actually have problems with absorption of vitamin B12. And then the second they get an IV or whatever, and they start absorbing it, they feel a million times better. So that's why it's important to be getting those nutrients, and so that your body can have good red blood cells. And guess what, guys? When you do oxygen, like when you do running and your body is struggling with oxygen, or if you're playing basketball and your body's struggling with oxygen, your body's going to naturally make more red blood cells. So that's going to increase your, that's going to decrease your risk for heart attack. It's going to increase your risk for just having strong red blood cells. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you learned something. This is iron deficiency. Here's my baby. And she's strong.